joined by Rotus, and we have a guest today, Omobolaji Ode, who's the head of money marketing, trading, and global markets at Stanbic IBTC. Good morning and good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Obalaji. Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, I mean, and hello to all our YouTube viewers and everybody that's listening. Obalaji, there was a bond auction earlier this week, and I wanted you to help us with the takeaway from that auction. Let's just maybe see what's going on with rates. How did that auction, the bond auction, go?
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for having me this morning. So like you said, yes, there was a bond auction on Monday, and we saw the debt management office offer 225 billion in total across the 2025 bonds, the 32s and the 42s maturities. And on each bond, they offered 75 billion each. I think eventually they were able to raise about 371 billion from the markets, which was, for lack of a better word, a very successful outing for the debt management office. Stock rates at the auction were relatively flat from the last auction. I think the only part where we saw rates go up slightly was the longer end of the curve, so the 30-year maturity, where it went up by about 10 basis points. So from 12.9, it closed at 13%, whilst the 25s closed at 10%, and then the middle part of the curve closed at 12.45%. I think that the most interesting part of this auction was the fact that they were able to raise almost 146 billion more than they had intended to raise, meaning that there's a bit of appetite for bonds at the moment. I think that also the 30-year going up as well by 10 basis points is just in line with the global news that we've been seeing, with inflation going up and prices going up. Everyone is asking for higher rates now. So I think that basically we'll continue to see that sort of trend going into the rest of the year. I, however, don't think that we'll see massive hikes throughout the rest of the year. The government has a lot to borrow. I think that the revenue expectations have been, for lack of a better word, a bit stretched. So I don't think that they'll be able to make as much, especially from the oil side, given the amount of subsidies that we have currently in the budget. But that being said, I think that there's quite a bit of appetite. In the month of July, I think we have about 200 billion in terms of coupon payments coming in. So we would see some spikes, but then I think that we would see like a gradual increase in rates and not like a massive 100 basis points at one auction or 50 basis points increase at one auction. But definitely, I think that the view is that rates may continue to be on the increase, at least for the foreseeable future.
All right, thank you for that update. Yesterday, I went on this long spiel about how inflation is the greatest enemy of mankind. Inflation is causing all the bad things that's going on in the world. Inflation is mankind's enemy. But how is this going to impact the appetite? I mean, you said the appetite looks healthy for rates. I mean, if you're the curve you've mentioned, I think at the 30, I think 12% or so, and maybe 10 at the mid-level part of the curve. If inflation is at 16.82, what are your clients telling you? How is that impacting, if at all, appetite for bonds?
So I can look at it from both sides. The first one would be to look at it from the global perspective and how all over the world, I think if you look at the US, the UK, and even like the Eurozone as well, so everyone is trying to tackle inflation. Like it's a topical thing everywhere. I think I saw some report yesterday about the UK inflation numbers hitting record highs of 9.6 or so yesterday. So it's a topical thing, and we're seeing that it's impossible for prices to be rising all over the world, and we will not see that trickle into Nigeria as well. And I guess that's what we saw from the last inflation print, where we saw it go up by 90 basis points from, I think, 15.92 to about 16.86%, if I'm right. So definitely, as we continue to see that, I think that the government and CBN with the MPC in conjunction would start to look at how to tackle inflation. The easiest way would be to hike rates, like we're seeing the US Fed do. They've already stated that they're going to hike rates again next month by 50 basis points, and also I think in July as well. So we should be expecting at least 100 basis points hike in rates from the Fed. So definitely, as rates are going up in safer havens, you would expect that rates would also start rising in countries like Nigeria as well. But the snag to that is the fact that we don't have a lot of offshore investors in Nigeria. And so the ripple effects that you would see for an economy that has a lot of offshore investors, you probably won't see that in Nigeria, given the fact that we're a bit isolated at the moment since we've been taking off the JP Morgan index. So I don't think, that's why I'm saying I don't think we would see rates go up significantly, but definitely you would see something happen. Another thing to look out for would be the MPC meeting, which is going to happen next week, Monday and Tuesday. So it'll be important to hear the tone of the MPC committee members and what kind of things they're thinking of.
Okay, great stuff. Now, as far as you mentioned borrowing, is there any fear of the federal government crowding out
slight delay, but don't you worry, we can keep it going.
Oh,
make sure you
Sope, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Make sure you send your messages into 0809 444 981. You can also watch the live stream up on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. And we are also on Twitter. Find us at smooth981FM and find Rotus at Rotancode. That's where you'll be able to find him up on Twitter. Now, so I know you and Rotus. By the way, can you hear me clearly?
I can. I think we lost Rotus for a second.
He'll be back. He knows how to find his way back. All right, so hold on though. Can we just talk a little bit about what's going on with this Okada ban? Because I don't know. So the Lagos state governor, he said that he expects them to find Okada riders to find something else to do, just like that, by June 1st, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, is our market that healthy for them to just slip into other avenues of work?
Yeah, I saw the news yesterday and I was like, oh, okay, so we're supposed to find, these Okada men are supposed to find new jobs in the next, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not really sure how that's going to happen, given the fact that there's a lot of Okada drivers in Lagos, and then you give them a notice period of basically 2 weeks and say that you hope that they would find other things to do. I think it's a bit stretched. I'm not sure that the labor market is as healthy as that for them to just easily find work to do in that short space of time. And it just like takes me back to what are the things that we've put in place for these Okada drivers? If we're saying like, okay, this is a total ban, right? So what are they going to be doing? What are the things what is the infrastructure? What are things that we're saying that they can fall back on? Because they're taking away their means of livelihood, right? And there's nothing, literally, there's nothing for them to do. I hope that we're not creating a bigger problem by trying to solve this other problem of the menace of Okada drivers. But yeah, right. I guess that's why I'm not yet the governor of Lagos State.
Okay, Rotus. So you found your way back to us. I have to say, I took a bit of a pivot and I was just like, let's talk about the ban, right? So we were talking about what exactly the Okada riders will be able to do if, they've been told to find something else to do, right? By June 1st, which is just around the corner. So
right.
Omobolaji and I were just discussing what exactly there is in the Lagos labor market for them to do. But
okay. Well, yeah. Well, Sope, thanks. Thank you. I'm so sorry about the internet connection. I just, talk call. I was just yesterday was all Okada. So I wanted to pivot away from there. But look, I don't know. I just heard Omobolaji saying that she's not the governor. We'll have to see what happens to them. But everyone knows that the labor market here is not that healthy. So we'll have to see what happens. So thanks for jumping in there. But
all right, hold on one second, Rotus. We actually have a message in on WhatsApp from Ogeno Chuko who says, "What exactly are the effects of increasing the interest rates on an economy?"
Okay, well, yes. So I would say the first thing though would be that I guess it would move to like how expensive it is for you to now do business, because if you think about the SME and the average man who doesn't like have the capital to start up a business, and they would then go to like the banks, right, to borrow money to start up a business, then with interest rates going up, you would obviously see higher cost of borrowing in the markets, and of course it then tends to higher cost of running their businesses in the country as well too. So I think that's the most obvious effect that you have.
Okay, thanks for that.
All right, and another one coming in from Gilbert Musa from Festac says, considering the current information that the Nigeria Stock Exchange has performed well since the beginning of the year, being the best in Africa and third in the world this year, can we ascertain the level of individual participation from 2010 till date?
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah, I don't think that information is available to the public, but definitely I know that we've seen a lot more retail investors in the markets. And if you think of the likes of MTN, and when MTN started, opened up their shares to the public, I think it was last year, early this year, we definitely saw a lot more retail investors going to like stocks like that. So I think that obviously we've seen a lot more participation from retail investors over time, but at the end of the day, it's still a more, it's a riskier investment portfolio than if you were going to do bonds or treasury bills.
So we've come to the end of the show, but I just want to read out this last message in from Henry Emmanuel. There were lots of messages coming in about the Okada ban. Thank you so much for sending them in, but we really have run out of time. So taking it back to what Henry Emmanuel says, he says, government borrowing has been and will crowd out private corporate loans. Meanwhile, inflation definitely knocked Rotus's connection off. Glad he's back. That's what I was laughing about earlier.
Thank you for that, Henry Emmanuel. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us as well.
No worries. Happy to be here.
All right, great. And that is for Business Express. Thank you so much, Rotus. Find him on Twitter. He is at Rotancode. And we are out because we've run out of time. Tomorrow,